So you're 58 years old with $750,000 saved up and you're wondering if you can retire. I'm here to tell you that you probably can, but where does that money come from? Which funds are you investing in? And how do you know that the funds are going to last through your retirement? That's what this video is all about. I'm going to build you a portfolio live on screen. We're going to look at it from a few different tax brackets, and I'll show you exactly what it pays after tax on each one of those. And stick around till the end because the after tax numbers on the different tax brackets may surprise you a bit. If you appreciate this type of content or you're coming up on retirement, be sure to subscribe on the way in. There are more videos coming like this one, but let's dive right into it. A lot of people approach retirement thinking about income ETFs in the same way they think about savings accounts, which is just find the highest yield, put your money in, and collect the check every week or every month. And the problem is this can absolutely destroy something that you spent 30 plus years building. So here's an example on screen. Funds that advertise 40, 50, 60, 100% yields. It sounds great for retirement. It looks great on their website. The advertised yield is what we call it. But funds like TSLY, MSTY, NVYY, they look like they have this massive yield, but when you strip out the return of capital, you could see on the right hand side, you get a completely different number, what we call the true income yield. So this strips out the ROC. A lot of times with these funds that advertise these huge yields, you'll see the NAV is quietly eroding. They have very low death clocks, which is a metric on YieldCanary. And for a 30-year retirement, this is no small problem. So you want your income to be rock solid in retirement. You don't want it to be in something that is showing one thing, but behind the scenes, it is doing a completely different thing, which is most likely destroying your wealth that you're trying to maintain and preserve. So before I build this portfolio, I'm going to show you exactly how to check whether a fund is healthy or not using YieldCanary. And then I'll show you exactly what a conservative income portfolio for retirement looks like with all this context applied. So the 4 things I check before adding any fund to a portfolio is 1, the canary status. We're looking for healthy funds only for this retirement income. Number 2 is the true income yield. This is what we show when we strip out the return of capital from the yield itself. Assets under management is number 3. We're looking at a minimum of a $5 billion fund for the retirement portfolio. 10 billion plus is preferred. And number 4 is death clock. This is the years before the NAV erosion becomes critical, and in retirement, longer is better, obviously. So these 4 filters eliminate most of the income ETF universe immediately, and I'll show you that real quick inside YieldCanary. So someone in the comments of a previous video said they had a hard time seeing my screen when I share it like this, so I zoomed in. If you're looking at this on desktop or mobile on your own personal devices, it doesn't look this big. This is just so you can see everything, but if you look here, total ETFs 332 on the platform right now, and what we just went over, the canary status was number 1. You can easily filter on canary status and see all of the healthy funds, which are 130 of them at the time of this recording. Few things here, canary status and the death clock. Death clock was on the previous slide. You could see for Chippy, for example, the death clock is 10 years, which is great. And it also has a 31% true income yield. So this is the trailing 12-month number with the return of capital portion removed. And if you scroll over to the right to cover the last thing we talked about on the previous slide, you could see assets under management right here. And for Chippy, it is at $1.1 billion. So just wanted to go over that real quick. And now we're going to get into the actual portfolio itself, and let's build this thing out. Here's our $750,000 retirement income portfolio at a high level. And you can see this is just 5 funds we're using here: JEPI, JEPQ, SPYI, GPIQ, and QDVO. JEPI is our anchor with a 40% allocation, and it's just under $300,000 in a position value, your cost basis. JEPI, not going to get too far into the weeds, but it's a JP Morgan fund, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, income ETF on the planet. 45.6 billion in assets under management. And JEPQ is the sister fund also from JP Morgan, with about 39 billion in assets under management, making up 25% allocation with a position value just under 188,000. Then we have SPYI from Neos, another big institutional player alongside JP Morgan, with 10.8 billion in assets under management here, just under $150,000 and 20% of the portfolio. And we have GPIQ, 10% allocation, just under 75 grand from Goldman Sachs, with a $5 billion asset under management and 0% return of capital on YieldCanary. And finally is QDVO with just a 5% allocation, or about $37,500 from Amplify, 742 million in assets under management in a very healthy 10-year death clock. So combined, all 5 of these funds are healthy on YieldCanary, and they have about 101.2 billion in assets under management. So here we are in YieldCanary on the portfolio tab, and I have built out what we just were looking at on the previous slide there. Just one more holding to add. You could see 4 of them down here. I just wanted to demo this. If you click add holding and we're adding QDVO, it'll show up there. We're going to do 1,272 shares at $29.48 per share, and we're going to click save. You will see everything updates here. You can see GPIQ, JEPI, JEPQ, QDVO, and SPYI now with all their metrics, the price, the shares, the position, their canary status, true yield. The list goes on here. You can see up top the cost basis. So this is where we're getting about $750,000 into this portfolio. The current value has increased since we ran the numbers. 10-year death clock weighted. Then we also have a weighted true income yield over here at about 10%. And what we're going to get into now is the monthly and annual income numbers for the different tax rates. So within YieldCanary, you could set your tax rates up in the settings in the upper right-hand corner. And I have it currently set to 22%. So you can see here the estimated monthly income on this portfolio after tax is about $5,104 or $61,245 per year in after-tax income. And here's what the numbers look like on a 24% and a 32% tax bracket. So you can see the numbers for the 22% bracket on the left-hand side there. For the 24% bracket, it is about $4,973 per month or $59,675 per year. And for the 32% tax bracket, it is about $4,449 per month or $53,393 per year. So the difference between the 22 and the 32% bracket, about $655 a month or $7,852 per year. One more thing to note about this portfolio here is for SPYI in particular. So SPYI, like many of the Neos funds, uses return of capital for tax purposes. So they are deferring taxes rather than you having to pay ordinary income on the distributions like most of the other funds. So deferral doesn't mean tax-free. You'll owe the capital gains if you eventually sell. But what it does mean is that the numbers that I'm showing you, like this monthly number up here, that may be less than what you're getting in reality because of funds like SPYI that have that tax deferral strategy using the return of capital. So YieldCanary right now just applies the blanket tax over top. We're working to make the tax withholding on funds like SPYI more realistic in how it actually works in real life. But for now, we're just applying a blanket tax, and you definitely want to talk to a tax advisor about this stuff because all of this is purely for illustration. So always do your own research. Let me explain the thinking real quick behind each allocation, because this isn't just buy the highest yielding healthy funds and put your money into those. So JEPI at a 40% allocation is the anchor here, 45.6 billion in assets under management from JP Morgan. This fund is not going anywhere anytime soon. It has S&P 500 broad exposure, so no single company or sector bet here. And this is the most conservative income ETF in the portfolio. And for that, it gets the largest slice. Next is JEPQ at a 25% allocation. This adds more income with the NASDAQ 100 exposure. Tech has historically driven returns over long periods of time, which matters for a 30-year retirement plan. And JP Morgan is backing this one just like it is for JEPI. Next, we have SPYI at a 20% allocation, giving you S&P 500 exposure from NEOS, a second institutional manager alongside JP Morgan. Manager diversification is very important. If JP Morgan ever changes their strategy, you're not entirely dependent on the one issuer for the S&P 500 exposure. Next, we have GPIQ at a 10% allocation. This is a clean income position, 0% return to capital, means no tax complexity, no cost basis tracking, straightforward distributions. This one's from Goldman Sachs with a 10-year death clock, and every dollar is real earned income because of that 0% return of capital. And finally, QDVO at a 5% allocation is the diversifier, different issuer, different exposure, 10-year death clock, and almost 0% on the return of capital. It's a small allocation and it breaks you out of the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 concentration that are in the 4 other funds. What's not in this portfolio are any single stock covered called funds like Tesla or NVDY, no leverage, no semiconductor concentration, no funds under 1 billion in assets under management, no funds without a long track record. And this is built for someone who needs the income to last for 30 years, not some kind of spike for a 12-month period of time. So let's summarize a $750,000 retirement portfolio across the 5 funds that we just discussed. A 22% tax bracket to a 32% tax bracket, and the numbers are there in the middle right of your screen, about $5,100 per month to $4,449 per month, depending on your tax bracket. This isn't the highest yielding portfolio you could build with $750,000. You could chase higher numbers with single stock yield max funds or leveraged covered call ETFs. But for retirement income, you need funds that are going to be healthy in year 10 and year 20, not just today. The health check is what separates income investing from income gambling. And if you want to make sure you're not gambling with your own funds, please come check out YieldCanary. The link is going to be down in the pinned comment below. Leave a comment while you're down there as well, and we'll see you in the next video.